Welcome to day 8 here at the Nutrien Classic 2021. Things are starting to heat up with the sale happening outside with huge money. With us here today is Young Guns winner and Classic Reserve champion, Matt Moffat. G'day, Matt.
G'day, Brett. Thanks for having me.
Matt, what a week it's been. You've brought a team of horses down. You brought 8 sale horses down, plus camp draft horses. Second time winning the Young Guns. Must be a huge thrill to come down and you're no stranger to the big stage, but to back it up and win such a prestigious event like the Charlie Maher Memorial Young Guns, big feather in your cap.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's a great thing, and it's a great opportunity for young people to come down and compete on different people's horses. I enjoy it every year. I always come down and try and change the horses up every year and just have a different experience on someone else's horses. And it's an absolute credit to Landmark for having it down here, and I get excited every year coming down riding it. So yeah, no, it's great.
Do you get another go, mate? How old are you?
I'm 23, so I get one more go.
Stop it.
So,
look out again next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Quite lucky.
And what about the ride on Cat Swift? How did you manage to wrangle that one?
I had another mare coming down here to ride, but she went lame a few days before getting here, so I got on the phone and tried to work out who had a horse here that no one was riding, and I rang Zane, and he gave me the thumbs up, which was great of him, and Kerry for letting me ride their mare. So yeah,
Come up with the goods.
come up with the goods.
That's the go.
Now let's go back to the Classic. It's the big event everyone comes for. That's to be reserve champion in that on a horse that comes through, was gelded. That must, everyone was talking about Ben Hall, in the lead up, and did that take any pressure off everyone else, or was it, there's a big expectation there, we're going to knock him off his perch, or how did that play out?
No, I just went round by round. My little horse is in the sale for this year, so I just wanted to make sure he was comfortable the whole way through the rounds, and I was lucky enough to get some good cattle, which is always a bonus. But no, Ben was out there and he was number one out. He's a pretty good operator. He doesn't miss from number one, I don't think. So I was just happy to go around and hopefully get in the money and made sure my little horse went good, and which he did, and yeah, come up with the goods. So
Has he been through the sale yet?
no, he hasn't. He's tomorrow.
So obviously someone can buy him and still have a shot next year.
Definitely.
So there's still a bullet left.
Definitely, yes. No, and that was the goal. I set him up for someone for next year, and yeah, he'd be a great contender for next year to go on and potentially win.
There'd be a spot at Matt Moffat Training Stables if someone bought him.
I'd be more happy to take him out.
So, Matt, give us an idea for the viewers watching. What is your main income stream? What do you do at home?
Ride horses every day, and we just got a little place outside Rocky, and yeah, just riding horses for the public sort of now. And
Yep. So you're chasing competition horses, more sale horses?
just more sort of, just getting camp draft horses going, and just learning. I'm potentially a non-pro for the cutting area, so I'm just learning how to do that with my own horses. But yeah, just training and campaigning camp draft horses.
I noticed last year with the introduction of COVID that you dabbled in a little bit of cutting. How was that? Bit of fun?
Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great to go and learn move to a different industry and go to a different sport. And I enjoyed every bit of it, and hopefully they might see me around a bit more, hopefully.
Yeah, that's right. It's always awesome, I think, to, go out, push yourself outside your comfort zone and give that extra little something else a go. And that all adds to your skills, doesn't it, in riding, the likes of these horses. Some of them, that'll come to you might have been through a futurity program, or that'll always help you show a horse in the camp, hey?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. And, and it's just great to keep learning and keep rolling.
So you've sold 5 of your 8 sale horses. Tell us how they've gone and any sort of big money horses in there.
They've all been sold, which has been great for everyone. One horse that I've always had a soft spot for was last year's Classic winner and Grasshopper. Some great clients of mine bought him back, so I might get to have a ride on him in the next few months, hopefully. And he's definitely been one of my little soft spots. All the other ones have been sold. They've been great. Gone to good homes. So yeah.
Matty, what's the view on your on the incentives here at the Classic? Like, what do you think? How does it contribute to your pocket, to your promotion when you come down here? Like, you're really on show, aren't you?
Oh yeah. There's no room for error. It's getting very professional now, and it's great. The industry is growing. People are buying horses for this specific event.
Yeah.
You know, my clients that I did well on their horse in the last couple of days, they're more excited to buy, you know, more than
Another
one this
one,
year, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, that's just great. The money's up, you know. One Styles, you know, they
Yeah,
put
yeah,
up
the
more
syndicate.
incentives again and more money, and you know that's how an industry grows, is through money and you know, promotion. So it's unbelievable. There's nothing else like it.
Yes.
Let's talk about those clients. I believe that's Kurt and Erica Henrihan. Like, they've obviously bought that horse, had the trust in you to train that horse out to come back and run second. They must be over the moon and, you know, thrilled to bits to be back out there to put the bid card up again.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, they love horses. They're very passionate about them, and they got a good little team of horses now. And yeah, hopefully we might be able to get another one this year. And
You've run one around of, was it the Classic or the Young Guns on a horse of theirs? Was it last year?
no, I got third in the Young Guns on one of their mares last year.
Yeah,
Might
right.
have won the final round or
Yeah,
something. But
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, fantastic. It's just so nice to see those relationships, you know, establish and then continue on. And as you grow, they come with you and,
Yeah,
and you know,
definitely.
the horsepower grows. And yeah, it's great to see.
You become a bit of a team as you go on through the
ranks.
Yeah, pretty much, eh?
Yeah.
And we've seen this week that, you know, it's quite evident that Ben doesn't like to share. But you made him have to sit down, play in the sand
Tell
pit
me, would you?
and give you a red ribbon, and you know, you've made him, you know, share the stuff around. So that's a
Yeah,
credit.
that was one goal, not to let him take it all.
At all.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, thank you for coming and joining us here on the panel today. Good luck with your 3 sale horses to come. It's a huge, huge effort what you've achieved this week. Not only, you know, to take another buckle home from Tamworth in that very prestigious Young Guns, to be reserve champion in the Classic is amazing. After the break, we're going to catch up with Mark Barton from the Nutrien Equine team and talk about their new venture into the standardbred industry.
So we welcome Mark Barton to the panel this afternoon. Mark is the head of our equine livestock Nutrien team. Thanks for joining us, Bardo.
No, thanks for having me back.
So Bardo, I believe you've gone into a new venture. The standardbred industry have seen how fantastic our Classic sale is here at Tamworth, and they're wanting to model something along those lines with incentives and the rest. Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, look, I think what was really good to see, a couple of the bigger breeders, Ben Stud Standardbreds, they've got a location in New South Wales and Victoria, 60 horses in Melbourne in Oaklands Junction in April. Also Brooklyn Lodge, 25 horses that traditionally sell Sydney, but they're going to take them to Melbourne.
Wow.
The traditional standardbred market has been 4 or 5 legs of sales, you know, Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney and Perth. And it's been a disconnect. I guess buyers have to travel to all of those markets. We've felt that this has drawn a whole industry together. We've seen Magic Millions bring everyone to the Gold Coast, and we've offered an option, I suppose, where you might bring horses to one market. We'll sell in Melbourne this year, but those graduates from our 2021 Melbourne sale will actually race for 2-year-old races worth a minimum 400,000 in Sydney in 2022.
Wow, that's
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
So it's basically replicating the platform we have here. They're going through the sale and then they're coming back to something that they're eligible for an incentive and some more money up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's probably a bit different, you've got 2 gates. You've got the pacing gate where they're hobbled, and you've got the trotting gate. And this year, probably the biggest importer of trotting genetics is Yabby Dam Farms, that have never sold commercially those European genetics that they bought out. We've got 30 odd horses of theirs. So we've got incentives for 2-year-old pacing fillies and colts. And we've also got a 2-year-old mixed sex, because a lot of the trotting gate do take a little bit longer to mature. But we've then had Yabby Dam put up an additional 150,000 to see the richest 3-year-old trotting races in the Southern Hemisphere for 2022 in Melbourne.
Wow.
2023 Melbourne.
So, yes.
Mark, we just had an interview with the Rocking P Ranch that would be probably their first major sale with Nutrien Equine. They cannot speak highly enough of the professionalism and how they've been looked after here when they've come to Tamworth, and the results have shown with what the product they've brought to the table, how the results have turned out for them. We have no doubt that you'll be getting the same result from the vendors in the standardbred industry, that they're seeing that you've not only got the interest at heart for that yearling that's going to make top dollar, whether you sold him, you know, you could sell him out of the backyard and he'd always make that money, or you're selling the run-of-the-mill horse, everyone gets treated the same, you get the same, you know, time of day, your auctioneers all still work. I bet you they'd be feeling that love.
To get those guys here, it's pretty, you're comfortable bringing them here because we do handpick our team here. No one's asked to come. We invite those guys that want to be here, that actually have a passion for it. And we're really proud of what we've achieved. And when I say we, I think that's the whole industry. Like people like you guys, when you take your nutrient shirt off, it's a family that's grown over a decade or more that we all care about this. And I think that attitude's what really did engage us with those standardbred breeders. They're primary producers. The racing product, and I've been on a very steep learning curve, you've got an industry to have TAB revenue, you need a minimum 4,500 standardbred foals registered each year.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's dropped by 2/3 in the last 15 years. It's almost back to that minimum number, and we feel that we've got to focus on that primary producer, which in this case is a standardbred yearling farm.
Mm-hmm.
A third of our catalogue's got group winning mares in it, you know, and it's how do we help those people grow their business, and I think hopefully bring them on a journey where collectively we can really make a difference. But it's a big commitment because you agitate or disrupt a market and don't get it right, it can actually make a bigger issue for breeders. So,
Well, I think we've seen here at the Classic how the introduction of the incentives has really inflated the prices of these horses. It's got people coming to the Classic to buy a horse for the incentive. So it's done massive things for our industry and positive things for our market. I really hope to see the same thing in the standardbreds.
yeah, and I think there's a lot of people, we all probably only associate with that recipient mare. But when you actually get to know the people, it's a lot of fun, a lot of country racing. That's where the heart of harness racing is probably here south, Tamworth South. Albion Park in Queensland is thriving at the moment. But the more you get involved, it's actually a lot of fun. It's the same buzz we get watching a camp draft this horses carry on.
Mark, is there any tie-up, like in our camp draft sale, it's a big thing that it's kind of been it started as a little byproduct that you can go on farm, you can market their cattle, you can sell their bullocks, you can do all that, and then handle their horse sale. It's a one-stop shop with the nutrient team from where to go. You can buy their livestock to come back here to the Classic. Do you find that in the standardbred industry with their farms, and you can handle their other livestock issues as well?
Nutrition's a big part of it. If you look at the tie-up in these yearlings when they hit the ground, they can't afford a check because you're competing in a really competitive market. Farm inputs. Look, we've listed a couple of really important real estate listings that we'll actually bring to the market with our April sale, which are pristine real estate opportunities for our business. But I think there's a lot of that same time where we do a lot of business around this is the relationships, and if we build relationships, they become the foundation of a really strong business for us.
I've just got one more question. I know you want to wrap it up, Flip, because obviously we've got some big horses coming through the SAR. We're going to see you in the helmet and the silks driving one.
She'd be a big pony pulling my sack round, wouldn't it? I reckon, Brett. It's probably actually on a serious note. The guys were here the other day, and one of the really important things in racing is rehoming horses. And they're quite genuine. They said, look, if Harness Racing Australia was to put together some money, pay trainers, not just do a charity thing, pay 8 or 10 trainers to get 6 or 8 weeks with a off-the-track gelding, rehome them and put up a significant prize pool for a standardbred camp draft, would there be blokes in it? And I said, look, I know some blokes silly enough to do just that. And I don't want to mention names here, Brett, but, there's guys out there that would probably be, and girls, that would probably, I reckon, it'd be a lot of fun.
I without a doubt, there's one person that can't go in it. It's Ben Hall.
He wins everything else, doesn't he?
Because there would not even be a contest. But that in itself is that's what we've got to do. We've got to give those people an option to go, you know what, we're going to do that. We're going to get a thoroughbred or we're going to get a standardbred. And you know what? They are an animal. They need to be cared for. Everyone in the industry, they've got that same love for those animals. there's no reason they couldn't come and do it.
No, and look, they're an athlete.
Absolutely.
They're an athlete. When you, like I say, the more contact you have with those, a standardbred. Look, we talked about Tough Tilly, and she was a really heart-wrenching story when you talk about what she represents. But they're awesome athletes when you actually see them and see those horses when they're in full flight. It's a great experience.
Let's put the challenge out there now. We're on air. There's no turning back now. Let's put the challenge out there for the Standardbred Camp Drafts, the Nutrien Classic, whatever year it is. Let's do it.
I tell you what, if we wanted to pick one up and put him in a chariot, I reckon it'd have to be Huey Miles, though, wouldn't it?
He's number one on the list. He gets the first horse.
White Young, he'd be pretty lightweight too.
He's on. We definitely need to do it.
Scott Keogh would probably make up number 3.
I don't think weight needs to be a barrier here. I think we go on camp drafting with.
Well, I tell you what, you look at some of these tough and rumble blokes. Troy Palmer, how'd you like to see him in the gig?
He's too competitive. He'd be likely to run over the back of someone to get to the line.
The truth, if you actually the whip in harness racing, and this is a true fact, when it was originally started, the whip was actually only to be used on your fellow competitor. That is true. And I think if there's one that would actually draw the whip, that would have to be Troy.
That would be it. But I have driven a horse on a track like that. It is phenomenal the speed they go. And yep, I think a Standardbred Camp Draft, let's take it to the powers to be and let's bring it on.
What about Flip? We get the ponytail out the back of the gig rolling as we come around.
Perfect.
That last 400.
The first Palomino Standardbred goes to Felicity, and let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
Sounds good, guys. Bardo, thanks so much for joining us on the panel this afternoon. It's really exciting to see what you're doing in the equine industry, for the equine industry in Australia. And after the break, we're going to go over last night's events and see who won what.
Once again, we had a huge night over at the Camp Draft Arena when we wrapped up our National Rider title. We had the second round of the Dalgety Stallion Shootout. We had the Arena Bar Dash for Cash for the geldings, the Navajo Masters Final, and the Martin Stock Haulage Open Final. Now, wasn't that a big final? We had to wait till the last rider in the Open Final, Peter Bolton, took the win. That was 2 wins for the night.
Not bad, hey. Winner of the Masters, winner of the Open Camp Draft. I'm pretty sure Bolty's going to be happy driving home today.
It will be huge. Now, when we look at that, he won Sweet Romance, 177. It was 1 point ahead of Rowan Marks. Rowan Marks was giving away a fair lead going into the final. He clawed his way back into second spot. That was great. Also, Ben Hall, third out, runs 91 points to win the gelding incentive. Another $2,000.
Have to take a wheelbarrow home with him, hey? At least.
The whole A trailer will just be like, they'll be trying to shut the door, they'll be like putting the money in there, the buckles, everything else.
Checks.
No doubt about him.
Yep. What about the NCCA draft? How awesome was that? I'm not going to Skype, but I'm pretty sure there was 5 of our 6 competitors from the ACA in the top 10.
Yeah, it was good,
Just
wasn't it? No, there's no dramas here. In the Open, a 273 point, that was a run. That's 391s. You win a Gold Cup with that.
Oh yeah, that's the standard of drafting here. The standard of horses and riders.
Hugh Miles made it hard. He come out and he was 271. Peter Bolton had to hold his nerve right to the finish.
Yep, on that imported Time's Up stallion of Peter Shumax.
Huey stuck it right on him.
Yep, he knows how to do it.
So they were our finals last night. They were all done. We've got tonight. We go back over there. We're going to go for the third round of the Dalgety Stallion Shootout. We're outside. We're going to go 3 camp draft rounds. Pete Comiskey leads the way on Archdale Convoy. We'll see if he can hold the lead. There's a good few stallions that can win that. So Pete's got to score outside to make sure he keeps in front.
Yep.
He's won the rider title last night on Harry. That's 2 years in a row. There's no holding PJ back.
How about the scores though in that stallion draft last night? There was 3 on 91 in that second round. And how many more? Another 2 on 90 and another looks like 3 on 89 and then followed by a bunch of 88. So the drafting last night was so entertaining and tonight's going to be the one that really separates them.
I was actually sitting out in the arena with Scotty Bandy when Dave Thorne had his run. And when he was picking his bullock out, Scotty said, Dave, we're on the Friesians, 2 turns and go. Dave's done 29.
22.
And Scotty Bandy's gone, I'm glad he listened.
Yeah.
He had a 25, a 62 and 4. Big round,
Yeah.
big round. So tonight we're going to go with round 3 of the Stallion Shootout. We'll have a winner to bring back to you tomorrow. The guys from Nutrient Equine with the Thriller from Chinchilla, Uncle Terence Ryan, he's going to bring the full wrap up. It's another huge day of prices. I've seen a 2-year-old gelding on the way up here make $20,000. Can't wait to see the wrap up. Terry will bring it to you right here from Tamworth, the Classic 2021.